This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so before starting Tally, I have few questions. So I'm sharing the screen now. Okay, so all our account students, I ask few questions regarding accounts only. Okay, my first question is, any idea what is Tally? If you know the answer, you can use the chat box and then you can reply. Otherwise, you can unmute and then you can reply. Whether it is a right or wrong, you can reply to me. I just asked one simple question, what is Tally? Can anyone answer? Ananya, Anju. Am I audible to you? Can you hear my voice? Okay, fine. So Tally is an software. So Tally is a software. Okay, so you know what is hardware and what is software? Have you heard about hardware and software? Okay, so I'm getting one reply. Arya and Ajit, can you tell me what is hardware and what is software? You can unmute and then you can give the answer.
Hardware is something which you can physically touch or feel, whereas software cannot
Okay,
physically feel that software.
okay, fine, good. So, who gave the answer? Sorry, I didn't see the name.
Kritika ma'am.
Okay, ma, very good. Okay, now, so hardware is a physical component of the computers. So it is a physical component of the computers. For example, can you anyone give the example for hardware?
Computer,
Monitor,
Okay,
laptop,
Monitor,
exactly.
keypad, mouse.
Yes, yes.
mm,
So keyboard, mouse, CPU, monitor, printer, even for a pen drive, CDs, everything we call it as a hardware that represents the physical components of the computers. Now, my question is software. So, what exactly will be having in a software?
like programs, ma'am.
Microsoft
Exactly.
Art,
Microsoft. Okay. So,
Data.
software we can define, yeah, software we can define it as it is a collection of data. So, collection of data will be having in a software. For example, Let me take MS Office. It is a software, and of course,
MS
Tally
Word.
is a software. Yeah, MS Office, it contains everything: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access. So Tally is a software. And what about I am using now Google Chrome? That is also a software. Okay. So these are the softwares. Now, so Tally is a accounting software. In other words, we can say Tally is a ready-made software. See, if I take a computer, in this computer, we have a two types of software. One is system software, and one more we have here, application software. For example, I'll take one example of mobile. See, I'll take a mobile now. In this mobile, we'll be using the applications like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, right? The same thing, can we use it in a basic mobile? Is it possible? Very basic mobile, can I use WhatsApp, Facebook, everything?
No, ma'am.
No,
No.
ma'am.
No.
No. Why? Can anyone give the answer?
It generally doesn't have the internet
Hmm.
facilities that a smartphone has.
Okay. So internet facility is not available. The main thing, see, I categorized here two types of software. One is system software and one more is application software. The system software is nothing but the example I can take here, operating system. So in that operating system, we have a different examples here. Windows. I think everyone heard about Windows, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Windows, DOS, Android, which is mainly used in the mobile phones, Android, Mac. So these are the operating system are available in computers, and Android, Windows operating system available in a smartphones. That is the reason we can download many applications such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, so we can operate in a smartphones. The same thing, the basic set, it doesn't contain any operating system. So we can't download any application in a very basic mobile. Is that clear? Okay, now in application software, so computer is an electronic device. It accepts the data. Everyone knows that one. So if I want to save the file, whether I can go to MS Word or not information, and then we can save the file. I want to add some more information. Like for example, I want to do some database in MS Excel. So directly we'll open MS Office application software and then we'll start doing the data. Same thing in a computer, we'll be having the application softwares like Google Chrome, MS Office, Tally, and Photoshop. So these are the applications we can download in a computers. So this one we call it as a application software. MS Office, Chrome, these things. Okay. Now, okay, before starting what is Tally? Anyone has the idea why we are using Tally software? For what purpose mainly we are using Tally software?
For recording accounting transactions.
Okay. So I'm getting in a chat box which helps to manage the financial transaction. Okay. Sorry, yeah. Record the So Tally software, it is used to record the financial transactions. Okay. See, Tally will call it as a ready-made software. So any idea why we are calling as a ready-made software? Okay, so you are all accounting students. See, the first thing, what are the things we'll be doing in accounting cycle? The ledger posting, journalization, trial balance. At last, we'll do the balance sheet. So in Tally, we are calling as a ready-made software because many of the options by default will display in a Tally software. For example, balance sheet. If I am doing the transaction properly, automatically it will display the balance sheet. If the transactions are proper, automatically it will give the P&L account. So only the thing we have to pass the entry properly in a Tally software. So it will create or it will provide a balance sheet. So that's why many of the options will be having by default in Tally software. So that's why we call it as a ready-made software. So now why I have to choose only Tally software to store the record to record the transactions? Why can't we do it in a MS Excel? Because as I told you, if I am doing in an Excel sheet, I think have you seen the Excel sheets? We'll be having rows and columns. Rows and columns, I can do the calculations, but it will not give me the balance sheet at last. So Tally is a platform to record the transactions. So whatever the transactions we are doing our daily routine, like whether it is the expenses or income, everything I have to record. One platform will be using Tally. So my next question is, what is accounts? Can anyone tell what is an account?
It is a systematic recording and reporting of financial transaction or business transactions.
Okay, good. Then any other answers? So it is a systematic way to record the transaction. It is used to record the day-to-day transactions. In other words, we can say like this also. Day-to-day transactions. For example, I'll take one mobile shop. So in this mobile shop, today I'm selling 10 mobiles. So I'll get the income from this. And in that, I paid the rent. That is the expenses for our company. And again, I bought 100 mobiles from the suppliers. So day-to-day transactions, what are the incomes I'm doing? What are the expenses I'm paying? Everything I need one platform to record. So this one we call it as a accounts. So next one we have here ledger. I think have you heard about ledger? What is mean by ledger? Can anyone give the answer? What is ledger?
which records the company's transaction now.
Okay. Again, okay, which will record the company transaction. Okay, can you give any examples on ledger?
Like bookkeeping,
Okay.
Double entry system, trial balance.
Yes. So ledger we call it as a head of an accounts because I'll just take one example here. You can just tell me what is ledger in this. Okay, I'll just give one clue. There are two ledgers here. Can you tell me what are the two ledgers?
Cash and rent.
Yes, exactly. So here rent paid is a ledger, again cash is a ledger. So this one we call it as a ledger. Next one is asset. So I think you know this. What is asset? Can you give the example of asset?
plant machinery,
Yes.
And machinery.
Okay,
buildings.
that is yes. So what exactly is the asset?
Assets have two types, ma'am,
Cash is also an
tangible and
asset.
intangible.
Okay, that is a types
Cash,
intangible and intangible. Very good. Then
cash is also an
I,
asset.
okay,
items owned by a company is called asset.
very good.
Resource of a
So
business.
yes, exactly. So it is a source of a business. It is used to run the business. That is what we call it as a asset. So again, we have a two types of asset here: fixed asset, and one more is
Current asset.
Current assets.
exactly. So current asset. So fixed asset is like as you said, furniture, land and building, machinery, all those things. Current asset is cash, debtors. So those things will come. And again, we have here two types of asset: tangible and intangible asset. I think can anyone give the answer? So what is tangible? What is intangible?
Tangible assets are those assets which can be touched and feel.
Is so intangible.
Intangible assets are those which cannot be seen.
Copyrights,
But
patents.
Is
goodwill is the intangible asset.
correct.
Mostly services.
Yeah, goodwill, rating, right?
Copyrights,
Yeah,
trademark.
copyright is also yes, copyright it is also an asset, intangible asset. Again, tangible I can take here furniture, land and building. Okay. Now liability. Can anyone say what is liability?
Liability is a debt.
Okay, so what are the types of liability?
Long-term liability and short-term liability.
Okay, current we can say current liability or long-term liability. So can you give any example of long-term liability?
Loans, bonds,
Yes, yes,
lease,
yes. And current liability?
Your creditors, bills
short-term
payable.
loans.
Yes. So within a short term, what are the expenses will do? That one we call it as a current liability. Whether it is electricity bill, rent, all those things will comes under current liability. Okay, now my next question is capital. Can anyone say what is capital?
Is the initial amount, ma'am.
To start a
Okay.
business.
Yes. So it is the
Amount
initial amount.
invested in business.
Okay. Amount invested in business. Right. Now, what is investment?
By investing the funds in the company.
Okay. Then capital. Will it be the same capital and investment? Are the same both?
Both are same, ma'am.
Both are same. Okay. Now I'll tell you. See, when you are investing the amount for your own business, we call it as a capital. After some time, I'll get the profit in my business. I will invest for others' business, for example, shares. So that one we call it as an investment. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am.
So capital is investing the amount for your own business, and investment is investing the amount for others' business. Example, shares. Okay. So the next question is creditors. You heard about the word is creditors?
Is the
Which
amount
we
which you have to payable.
Yes.
we owe
So
something to
creditors,
them.
yes. In other words, we'll say it as suppliers and debtors.
Each other's
Buyers.
offer.
Yes. So I'll take it as customers. So creditors we call it as a suppliers and debtors we call it as a customers. To whom we call it as a bad debtors.
Which may not get a amount.
Which
So
may
will
get
not
or may not get.
that is doubtful. So bad debtors are nothing but the customers they'll not return the amount back. Those customers we call it as a bad debtors. Doubtful is as you said they may or they may not. Doubtful debtors. Next one is purchase. So what is meant by purchase?
Making buy of assets or something.
Okay, good. Any other answers?
Purchasing the asset
Anything,
for the business.
anything
Okay.
we buy is a purchase.
Mm,
Buying of
Anything we buy in cash or credit is called
mm.
purchase.
Okay. So instead of the word anything, I can use we are purchasing the goods from the suppliers. See, if I am running a manufacturing company, I'll purchase the goods from suppliers. Now, sales. See, as I told you, if I'm doing the manufacturing business, so I'll purchase the goods from the suppliers. I'll do the manufacturing. At last, the finished goods to whom I'll sell
Customers.
Buyers.
customers.
To
So
customers.
sales are nothing but goods sold to the customers. So the next one I'll take here purchase returns. So what is purchase returns?
When there is any damage, they return the.
Returning the defective goods.
Yes. See, if I receive any damaged goods or if it is there any billing problem, I'll return back the goods to the suppliers. the company will return back the goods to the suppliers. This one we call it as a purchase returns, sales returns.
Goods received from the customers.
Okay. Goods are rejected from the customers to the company. I will sell the goods to the customers. If it is there any damage or if it is there any billing problem, they will return back to us. That means company. So that one we call it as a sales returns. Okay. The next question is folio. Have you heard about the word folio?
No,
Ledger
ma'am.
folio.
No. First
Ledger
time you are
folio.
listening to the word folio.
Ledger
Okay.
folio,
Now,
ma'am.
Ledger
yes.
folio.
Yes. Ledger folio or journal folio.
Journal.
Folio.
So what exactly is this ledger folio or journal folio?
Assigning of
Okay.
numbers.
Yes, it is
Page
the
number.
page number of the ledger folio or journal folio. Okay, it's clear. So any
Yes,
doubts in
ma'am.
this?
No, ma'am.
Any doubts in accounts, asset, liability, capital, investment?
Ma'am, can you please explain again that what is tally specifically?
Yes. So Tally is a basically it is a ready-made software. It is used to maintain both accounts and inventory.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so it is a ready-made software and it is used to maintain and statutories, or we can say taxation. Okay, see, this is a definition of Tally. It is a ready-made software. It is used to maintain both accounts, inventory, and taxation. So accounts is nothing but what are the things I taught you now, like whether it is the accounts or ledger, asset, purchase, sales. So these everything we call it as the accounts. To maintain this one, will be using Tally. The next one I have taken here inventory. So can anyone tell what is inventory?
Stock.
Stock.
Yes, exactly. Stock or goods, we call it as a inventory. See, I have taken here purchase returns and purchase. So if I am purchasing the goods or if I am selling the goods, we'll be calling as inventory. Under this inventory, we are using here GST and the next part is taxation. So in the taxation, whether my company is paying TDS or TCS or any income tax, I have to pay the tax to the government. So these things will comes under taxation part. Okay, so these three we are maintaining by using Tally software, accounts, inventory, and taxation. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Okay. So till now I didn't start anything Tally. So I'm just teaching what is accounts because based on this accounting concept we are going to learn Tally. Because like what are the things we'll be doing like theoretically. Now I am entering practically in a Tally platform. That is what we are doing in a Tally software. Okay. Okay. So we'll come back to this again accounting concept. Have you heard of the bookkeeping concept?
ma'am.
Okay. So what are the types of bookkeeping?
Double entry and single entry.
Okay.
Single entry.
Yeah. Single entry system and double entry system. Okay. What is single entry system?
Where we record only one transaction.
Okay. And in double entry?
Two
Will record
transactions.
the entries two times, two transactions.
Okay, so based on? So in double entry system, we'll be using the two aspects here. One is debit aspect and one more is credit aspect. Where in single entry system, we'll be using only one aspect. Either it is a debit or it is a credit. In double entry system, we are using here both debit and credit aspect. So what is mean by debit? So debit is nothing but receiving and credit is giving. So I'll repeat. There are two aspects in double entry system, that is debit aspect and credit aspect. So debit aspect is receiving and credit aspect is giving. So that is what we'll be using in double entry system. And don't get confused between debtors and creditors. Creditors are the suppliers and debtors are the customers. Debtors, creditors are different. Debit and credit is different. So here what will happen in our debit and credit aspect is every debit balance is equal to its correspondent credit balance. So both the balance should be same. See, if I am purchasing furniture, I'll just take one example here. Furniture, rupees 50,000 by cash. So what is debit and what is credit here? Can anyone say what is debit, what is credit? Yes. So
Furniture
furniture
is
is,
receiving and cash is giving.
yes. So both the balance should be 50,000. Suppose if I am getting or if I am taking on a discount basis, so let us take like 5% discount. So that time I have to add here one more credit as discount received ledger. That is what we call it as a double entry system. For each and every transaction, for each and every ledger, we have to mention in a double entry system of bookkeeping. So in Tally, we can use both single entry and double entry system. So mainly we are going to use in accounting vouchers, double entry system of bookkeeping. And here debit balance is equal to its corresponding balance. It's clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you have any doubt, you can message me in a chat box. Now, types of accounts. What are the types of accounts we have here?
Nominal, real, personal.
Hmm. Personal account, then real account, and what is the last
Nominal
one?
account.
Exactly,
Nominal.
nominal account. Okay, can anyone say what is a personal account? What is personal account?
It
Records
is a
the
Personal,
transaction of
type of
individual
account which
customers.
is used to record personal transactions.
okay, personal transactions. Okay. Any other answers? Okay,
Is
so
the
I've taken
bank
here.
account which is first.
Okay. See, personal account is nothing but it is not an individual person account. For example, we'll be having the accounts in a account. Everyone will be having the account in a bank. So we'll be depositing or withdrawing. So that is not a personal account. See here, I have mentioned here two words: person and artificial person. So personal account is nothing but it is related to person or artificial person. In other words, it is related to company or a group of partners in that company. Got it? So here the example will take here capital, or it is a partnership firms. See here, if the company is doing the transaction like introducing the capital or transfer the amount from one capital to another capital, so this one we call it as a personal account. And anyone know the rules of personal account? The golden rules, what we can say?
Debit what comes in.
Debit the receiver, credit the giver.
Yes,
It was goes
debit the
out.
receiver, credit the giver.
Credit the giver.
Okay, I'll just give an example here. Okay, I just taken one simple example here. Mr. Ram introduced rupees 5 lakh towards his business by cash. Can anyone say what is debit and what is credit here? Okay, so cash is debit and credit we can say it is a Ram's capital. That is what we'll be doing in a journal entries, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next one is real account. So any idea what is meant by real account?
Real account is always a part of the company's book once it's
Okay.
opened.
Okay. What are the things will comes under real account?
Assets, liability,
Expenses,
equity.
gain,
Yes. So asset, it is a property or asset. So what is the rules for real account?
debit what comes in, credit what goes out.
Very good. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so I've taken one example here. A computer purchased at rupees 85,000 by cash. So what is debit and what is credit here?
Computer is debit, cash is credit.
Yes. So credit is cash. Okay, the last one is nominal account. So what is nominal account?
It is a temporary account and it's for a period of time.
Okay.
It is
And
used
what
to record
exactly we are
income and
using?
expenses.
Use it to record
Yes,
losses, gains,
yes,
incomes, expenses.
yes. So it is related to income and expenses. Can you give any example on income and expenses? The simple examples.
Sales
Okay,
revenue.
before. Okay. So before that, we'll just see the rules. What is the rules for nominal account?
Debit all expenses and losses, the credit all incomes and gains.
Incomes and gains.
Very good. So debit all expenses and losses, credit all your incomes and gains. So I'll take one example here. So commission received rupees 20,000 by cash. So what is debit and what is credit here? Okay, the first thing the
Cash
commission received. Yeah, tell me.
Commission is debit.
cash account to commission account.
Okay. So commission received is a income or expense for our company?
Income.
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 Yes. Then it will comes under which side?
Credit
Credit
side.
side.
Commission.
Credit side.
Credit side.
So commission is received is credit and debit is cash.
Cash.
Now I'll take one more example. Interest paid rupees 8,000 by cash. So now tell me what is debit and what is credit for this transaction?
Interest account
Debit is
debit to cash
interest,
account.
credit is cash.
Interest paid is
Yes.
debit, credit is cash.
So interest paid is debit and cash is credit.
Credit.
Yes. So these are the journal entries what we are using in a double entry system of bookkeeping. So any doubts in this
No,
double
ma'am.
entry system,
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
account, personal account, nominal account? Understood this one?
Ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, so now I'll give the introduction about Tally Prime. So here we are using now Tally Prime is a software. And you can see it is a business management software because whatever the transactions we are doing in a business, we have to maintain in a one platform. We will be using as Tally software. And here it will take care of your accounting things, that is a sales, purchase, receivables, payables, tracking. So receivables and payables is nothing but if I am purchasing the goods from the suppliers, I'll just take a time of 1 month or 15 days of time to give the return back the amount. That one we call it as a payables. The same thing will be happen with the customers, we call it as a receivables. And inventory management, that is the order processing and inventory tracking, that is example of purchase order and sales order. And the payroll management, so payroll is nothing but any idea, can anyone say what is payroll? So
Salaries.
Salary payment.
exactly, Yes, salary. So it is a worker's salary, we can say. So in that salary, we'll be getting some of the profits and the deductions. So can you tell me what are the subgroups will comes under payroll or a salary? For example, bonus and
Incentive.
Paid leave.
okay,
FD.
okay, FD,
PF.
PF. Yes. So what are the government employees? They'll be getting extra earnings from their salary. ESI,
Commission.
gratuity, right? And the main thing they'll get pension. So payroll is nothing but the worker's salary. In that we can say basic salary, bonus, PF, ESI, DA, HRA. So these are the things are included in payroll. To maintain this payroll, we'll be using in Tally. So we can maintain payroll management, bank transactions. So bank transactions are nothing but depositing the amount, withdraw the amount, and the statutory compliance. Statutory compliance are nothing but just now I told you we can maintain all the taxes including TDS, TCS, GST, everything. So not only like see mainly Tally will be using in a companies called whether it is a private limited companies or a public limited companies. So according to that company we are maintaining the day to day transactions, and at last we'll be getting the balance sheet. Automatically it will generate the balance sheet here. So that's why Tally we call it as a ready-made software, and it is a platform to store all type of transactions. We can do it in Tally software, like a sales purchase we can do, and bank transactions we'll be doing here, payroll we can do here, and statutory compliance, all the taxes directly from Tally software itself. We can pay the GST, so GST taxes and all. So that option also it is included in Tally Prime. Okay, is that clear? Okay, now I'll tell you Tally versions. So we have a different versions of Tally here. So these are the different versions of Tally. It started from 4.0, 4.5, 5.0, 5.4, 6.3, 7.2, 8.1, 9.0, and the previous version was ERP9. Now it is Tally Prime version. So we'll see what are the difference from the previous versions to the current version. So now see, if I take a Tally 4.5, so this was the first version of Tally and it was released in 1990. This software is based on MS-DOS. See, for example, if I am using Tally 4.5, I can't be able to use in a Windows software. Like what are the Windows operating system we are using? We can't use that one because it is based on only the MS-DOS operating system. And here In a 4.5 version, the drawback is like we can maintain only the accounts. We cannot able to maintain the both accounts and inventory. Inventory is nothing but what I said, like stocks or goods we can't maintain in a 4.5 version. And it is the first version of Tally, and it was released in 1990. The first version was released, and it is a based on MS-DOS operating system. Now, the next version is Tally 5.4, and it was a second version of Tally, and it is released in 1996 with the graphical interface version. See, graphic interface version is nothing but we can from 5.4 onwards we can start using in a Windows operating system. This 4.5 it is unable to operating in a Windows. From 5.4 onwards we can operate in Windows softwares. Now, the 6.3. It was a third version of Tally and it is released in 2001, and it is supporting printing, implementing with VAT. See, I think have you heard about VAT? Before GST, we were using the concept of VAT, that is value added tax, that will be used for the stocks or goods. So that is implemented in a Tally 6.3 version, and they supporting printing also. So printing is nothing but if I want to take a printout of balance sheet, if I want to take a printout of voucher, if I want to take a printout of checks. So these are the things are implemented in 6.3 version. Next, we'll move on to Tally 7.2 version, and it is released in 2005. And they added some new features in that one statutory complementary version. See, statutory complementary is nothing but VAT was introduced, and some other taxes also they introduced in Tally 7.2 version. And the next one is Tally 8.1, and it is developed in a new data structure. It was added new feature of point of sale. See, point of sale and payroll both are introduced in Tally 8.1. So point of sale is nothing but if I if I go to shopping mall to purchase anything, after purchasing, let us say some amount will be the 5,000. So the full 5,000 I can pay it by cash or can pay it by bank. Otherwise, for 3,000 I'll pay by cash, another 2,000 I'll pay by bank. So at last we'll get the bill. The what are the bill we are getting after doing the shopping or after purchasing the goods? That bill we call it as a point of sale. And even now also whenever we'll go to shopping or whenever we'll go to purchase anything, we'll get one billing receipt. That receipt or that invoice we are calling as a point of sale. And payroll, so payroll, just now I told you that it is a worker's salary. And in a Tally 9.0, it was released in 2006, and it is a released due to some bugs and errors. Some of the errors it was there in that one. And this version has a maximum features such as TDS, FBT, payroll, ETDS filing, etc. See, the full form of TDS is, can anyone know that full form of TDS?
Tax deducted at source.
Yeah, so TDS is very good, tax deducted at source. So in further classes, I'll tell you what is this TDS and how it will work and all. So TDS is tax deducted at source. And any idea what is FBT? Can anyone know what is a FBT tax? Okay, so it is a fringe benefit tax. So whenever we are doing the foreign exchange or export and import business, that time we used to add this fringe benefit tax. And ETDS filing. So that is electronic TDS filing option they introduced in Tally 9.0. And here you can see here 7.2 to 8.1, there is a drastic changes happened here. In 7.2 version, it was only the single language. So single language is nothing but only English language they were using from 4.5 to 7.2. And 8.1 onwards they make it as multi-language. Multi-language is nothing but all the local languages they were included in this one 8.1 onwards. And second point we can take here, in a 7.2 they introduced the VAT, And here in 8.1, they started using all the taxes, TDS, TCS, service tax, CST. So what is TCS? Any idea what is TCS? Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What is TCS? Okay, I'll give one clue. TDS is tax deducted at source. What is TCS?
Tax collected at
Tax
source.
collected at source.
Yes, exactly. So
Tax
tax
collected at
collected at
source.
source. So what is
Value added tax.
Did tax.
value added tax? And they introduced CST. Can anyone know what is CST? Okay. So
Central
CST
sales
is,
tax.
yeah,
Central
central
survey.
sales tax. Okay, now I'll tell you what is VAT and what is CST. See, for example, if I take an example of GST, if I am using for the same state, let us take Karnataka to Karnataka. We are using here two tax, CGST and SGST. If I am doing the interstate transaction, for example, Karnataka to Hyderabad, that time I'll be using IGST. So this is a scenario of GST, right? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll tell you. See, previously we were using the tax called VAT, that is a value added tax. The same thing, if I am doing the transaction with the same state, like Karnataka to Karnataka, I'm selling the goods. So that time we used to pay the VAT, that is value added tax. If I am sending the goods to Karnataka to some other place, let us take Hyderabad or Tamil Nadu, that time I'll be using central sales tax. And then ST is nothing but service tax. So now GST is including everything, goods and services both. But previously we were using separate service tax only. So that is what we'll be using in 7.2 and 8.1. And 7.2 is as I told you, it is a single language, and 8.1 onwards it is a multi-language. And here in a 9.0 they started using the payroll versions and the statutory payroll, also payroll taxation. Just now I give the example of payroll like a PF, bonus, and then ESI, pension, everything. To calculate these are the taxes, we call it as a payroll statutory. And the next one is tally ERP 9. So can anyone say what is the full form of ERP?
Enterprise resource planning.
Yes, exactly. So it is a enterprise resource planning. Okay. So enterprise is nothing but we can say it is a company or organization, anything, that is an enterprise. And resource. So what are the resources we required in a company? So see, resources are nothing but in a company will be maintaining accounts, inventory, payroll, taxes, and planning. And we are make a decision by using these are the resources. The ERP basically it is a enterprise resource planning, and it has all the features in one platform. For example, if I take a see here in a previous version, let us take from 5.4 onwards, it was like in a 4.5 it was working only in a DOS operating system. From 5.4 onwards it started using in a Windows, and in a 6.3 they implemented printing and a VAT. In 7.2 statutory was there in a VAT rules and all. In 8.1 they added some taxes. 9.0 they added the payroll. But ERP software it has all the features. So we can maintain all the sources, all the resources in a one platform, that is the enterprise resource planning. Is that clear? And it also updates with a new feature called GST. So GST is a goods and service tax which is able to maintain in ERP9, as well as the new software, the new version, it is Tally Prime. So Tally Prime, it is a user friendly software, and even the non-accounting students can learn Tally software, because only the thing we have to know the accounting concept. If you know the accounting concept, so we can able to do the Tally transactions. So any doubts in versions of Tally? Anybody has any
No,
questions?
ma'am.
Understood everyone? Okay. Now I'll tell you who is the founder of Tally. So who found the Tally? The person name is Sham Sundar Goenka and the Bharat Goenka. And it was known them as Neutronics Private Limited. Then in the year of 1986, they named it as Tally Solution Private Limited. So these two are the So Sham Sundar Goenka is the father and Bharat Goenka is the son. So they've developed the Tally solution software, and previously they named it as Putronics Private Limited. There is no name of Tally. So and later they named it as Tally Solution Private Limited. And products of Tally. So other than this Tally software, what are the things we'll do it in a Tally? So here we have Tally ERP9 and Tally Prime, Tally Developer 9, Tally Shopper 9, and Tally Server 9. So Tally Developer 9, it's like the software, how they will develop by using balance sheet or ledger creation, everything. That is a Tally Developer. Tally Shopper is nothing but in our shopping malls, they'll be designing the Tally software according to their goods and their requirements. Tally Server is, it is like it holds all the ERP, it holds all the companies. That is a Tally Server. See, server is a collection of network, so it will be holding all the tally data. And the screen of this Tally ERP9, it was a previously what we are using Tally ERP9. And so this is a Tally ERP9, and it is the most powerful concurrent multilingual integrated with accounting and inventory software. So it is a multilingual is nothing but it is a multi-language. So it is a multi-language. It has both accounting and inventory. So we can maintain accounting, inventory, statutory, payroll, auditing, etc. So these are the things. Again, we can do it in Tally Prime also. The main features that we're going to use in a Tally ERP9 was remote access capability. So can you tell me what is meant by remote access? Can anyone say what is remote access?
It
Okay, remote
means like
access.
rural area also you
Access
can
from
access.
places where you don't have big departments or something, or you have very good developed area.
Okay, so you're almost right. See, remote access is nothing but we can access from far places. For example, I am in Bangalore. I want to access my Delhi company data. So by sitting in Bangalore itself, I can open the Tally software. By connect to the Tally.net server, we can access the data. So that is a remote access capability they given in a Tally ERP9, and it is a multilingual capacity. Again, it has a multi-language capacity, and it is a resize of screen was possible in a Tally ERP9. It was not possible in a previous version. If I take a big size of monitor, I could not open that screen as much as the smarter or a bigger size of monitors that was in a previous versions in a Tally ERP9. So they're given the option like to resize the screen. And so in Tally we have here two modes. One is educational mode and one more is license mode. The difference, See, in educational mode, it will not allow me to do the transaction from 1st of April to 30th of April because they are given the permission only for the 3 dates, that is 1st of April, 2nd of April, and the 30th of last day of the month of the April, every month. And in the license mode, we can do the transaction 1st of April to 30th of April. And the second option in the educational mode, internet option will not work. So this internet, it is related to Tally, not for the computers. So if I'm opening a Tally, if I want to send a mail or if I want to do the remote access, educational mode, it will not give the permission where we can use it in a license mode. So license mode, we can use the email options and directly we can log into GST portal. Everything we can do it in a license mode. So there are two versions in Tally. One is educational version and one more is license version. And the next thing, the downloading the Tally software. So everyone downloaded the Tally software. Everyone has the Tally software in your laptop.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
No.
ma'am.
no, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to start with how to download the Tally software. That I'll explain tomorrow. And you have to download the software for the further transactions and all. For the further practicals, you need to do it in a Tally software itself. So today is just an introduction of accounts and the Tally. Is there any doubts for today's session?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Everyone
No, ma'am.
understood? Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to teach you that how to download the Tally software and how to create a company. Everything I'll start with the tomorrow session.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, you told
Okay.
something about IGST.
Sorry?
You told something about IGST. I didn't get you, ma'am.
No, that the IGST is nothing but what I said. No. See, I gave the example of CST and VAT. Like IGST is nothing but we are doing the transaction from Karnataka to some other state. That time we'll be using IGST. So don't worry, once I start with the GST concept, I'll be telling what is CGST, what is SGST and IGST.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. That is a GST concept. So any other doubts?
No, ma'am.
Understood everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. And one more thing, you'll
Ma'am.
be after the completion of Tally, you'll be having exam. Okay, you have to take a exam, online exam only it will be there. You have to take up your exams. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you everyone. And tomorrow class will be at 6 o'clock.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Welcome.
ma'am.